I am not ashamed to admit that TikTok has put me onto some good bands, and I feel like you guys should start saying that to yourselves as well, because for some reason, most of you guys are too ashamed to admit that TikTok do be putting you on sometimes. I basically talk about bands on TikTok, and some of the music that I find comes from TikTok. I never really understood why some people are really embarrassed to admit that, and you know, it sucks, but I'm here to break the barrier, I guess. Now, I'm not some powerful musical figure, but I just talk about music online, and I feel like you guys should pretty much agree with me. There's some amazing music everywhere, and most of the time people are finding it on TikTok, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Here are some bands that I have found because of TikTok. Before I get into the video, please like and subscribe. That would help me out a bunch. We are almost at 10K, and by almost I mean like 1,500 subscribers away. So let's get to 10K, and it'll be an awesome achievement for all of us involved. The first band that I want to talk about is a band that my friend actually put everybody on, because this audio was not on TikTok until her audio that she posted in this band that is called Oakwood. And I honestly don't know the whole history about this band. I do know that they don't have that much music on Spotify or anything like that, but this one song that I found on TikTok because of my friend has honestly made a bigger impact than any of the videos I have ever created, which is pretty cool, because she uploaded this song by Oakwood and put it on TikTok, and it just blew up overnight. And that's basically the name of the game when it comes to TikTok and bands wanting to blow up. You kind of have to have a song that really generates a whole lot of buzz that a bunch of people want to use in their videos, and that is exactly what happened. So shout out Hannah, shout out that impact. As for the band though, emo band, Oakwood, not too many tunes out there, but the tunes that they do have, it really just stands out. The music that they have out, the emo music that they have out, is fantastic, and it is worth a listen, and thanks to TikTok and mainly Hannah. Now, this band I've known about, but I feel like I knew them because of TikTok, and this was many years ago, probably like a year and a half ago. That's not that long, maybe 2 years ago, and this is the band Fleshwater. And as you guys know, I've talked about Fleshwater and how I was not a fan at first, and mainly because of the vocals and stuff like that, but it has grown on me a lot, and I have become a fan over time. At the end of the day, bands want to make good music and want everybody to listen to it, and there was just a large time frame or time period on TikTok. You would just go on TikTok and a Fleshwater song would be on there. No matter how many videos you scroll past, it would just be on there like crazy. And as a band, you want that because, you know, the more promo, the better, and the more listeners and stuff like that. Good music is good music, and I will not be ashamed to admit that I find stuff through TikTok, and I feel like TikTok is just an amazing tool for a bunch of bands coming up right now. I'm not saying anything new. We've known this for a couple years now. Anything on TikTok could blow up easily if you just have a catchy song. It's good for bands, upcoming bands, independent artists, every type of artist that's coming up right now. What was that? So yeah, I feel like I don't have to say too much about Fleshwater, even though I'm trying to for some reason. They rock, and hell yeah, shout out TikTok. The next band that I want to talk about is a band I've talked about before, and this is the band Juggler. They are a shoegaze band, and as we know, shoegaze is in a renaissance type of period right now, and they're one of the cooler bands that I've found through TikTok because of their sounds and just a song they put on TikTok. It blew up, got a lot of listens, and that's the name of the game, like I've said a million times. It's a cool thing to see, and I'm really glad I stumbled upon this band because I feel like they have a bunch of potential. I love the songs that they write. I love the riffs that they create. Love the scenery that they create within their music. And yeah, they don't have a lot of stuff out. That's probably a negative for some people, but I don't mind, and I'm looking forward to the future with new Juggler music. You're going to see a common theme, I guess, in this video, and there's going to be shoegaze bands and some emo/screamo type of bands. That's the type of sound that resonates with a lot of younger folks and my age folks nowadays, and I understand why. It's freaking gas. But I want to say the most popular artist I found on TikTok is the shoegaze band and solo artist, I believe, Flyingfish. And this humanoid is very young. From what I know, this person is 15 years old, and that is insane to see, to hear, to read, and a lot of talent on display within the music catalog. The shoegaze is very mature for the age, and it's just like high level production and a prodigy all around. And when you listen to the music, there's not really too much vocal action going on. There's more just instrumental stuff. A ton of monthly streamers, almost 1 million, which is crazy, but it's just awesome to see, dude, that you could make music and go crazy online and create this fan base where a lot of people listen to your stuff because they enjoy it, and I love that for all of these bands. Moving forward, I don't know what's in store for Flying Fish. There's honestly the stars that can be reached by this humanoid and this musician, so we shall all be excited with what's coming. The next 2 bands on my list are screamo bands and emo bands. And the first one that I want to talk about is Versus Self, and I've talked about Versus Self in one of my previous videos, so I won't go too crazy into detail. This band, though, really makes you feel, and I feel like a bunch of bands that are coming up gotta make you want to feel. This band, Versus Self, is very talented within creating human emotions and just connecting everybody all around. There's a ton of relatability, there's musical ability as well, and it just meshes together perfectly. And this band is one of the bands that are on fire right now in this current modern era, and I'm very happy for them because that's awesome. A lot of people love them, and rightly so, dude. They really rock. As I said, though, I don't want to dive too deepy into them because I already just talked about them in one of my previous videos if you want to check that out. And finally, the last band that a lot of people know about, but I don't think I've actually ever talked about on YouTube. I know I've talked about them on TikTok, on the Instagram Reels, not so much on YouTube though, and I feel that's going to change right now. I'm talking about the band Knumears. Yeah, man, TikTok, or at least the side I'm on of TikTok, has a lot of emotions, and they be putting me on to some great screamo bands, and this band is on top. First time I listened to them, oh man, it's got to be a while ago, and yeah, man, they've been popping ever since, and I feel like screamo in general has just also in a renaissance type of era right now, and you should not be hating on these new bands because they're very talented. I literally saw one comment, not on my video, I think it was on another video, but people were saying that Knumears and Versus Self were carrying screamo and stuff like that, and someone replied no, it was some other band from the 90s, which I respect, but we're talking about this current era, and they are carrying this current era. You can acknowledge the past and you can appreciate the present. I want more people to do that because you just be bashing on people for no reason. Stop it. Stop it. There's a ton of great within this band, just like Versus Self. There's a ton of emotional damage, I guess, but it's damage in a purposeful way, in a positive way, in a hopeful way. Sometimes it feels like there's just so much going on, but that so much that is going on is truth. Truth is what needs to be told in all these bands, and most of these bands really be spitting facts, and I really appreciate the fact that I found them on TikTok, and I'm not ashamed. You shouldn't be ashamed, because if you are lame. I mean, really, like, are you embarrassed to say you found them on TikTok? TikTok is global. TikTok is humongous at this point. TikTok has created so many careers at this point. What are we talking about? You found it on TikTok? That's like saying you found it on Twitter. Like, we're at that point where TikTok is just a global phenomena. I know that's crazy to say nowadays, but I don't know, man. Back in the day when TikTok first started, I thought it was going to be like Vine and it was just going to fall off for some reason, but it has surpassed so many freaking social media platforms, and it is a great platform that carries a voice for the voiceless. A ton of great bands found on that app, and I love it. I love being put on to some great music. Sometimes people be putting me onto some straight butt cheeks, and I'm not afraid to say that, but I just don't talk about it because I don't want to talk about bad music all the time. That's all I gotta say in this video. All these bands on this list are freaking fire and gas, and I'm very glad that a lot of people also resonate and just connect and vibe with all these bands just like I do, and I hope all these fan bases just grow and grow and grow, and all these bands go on tour, all these bands get careers and all that stuff, man. They deserve it. And good music is good music. It'll go through any possible ear, anything. Please keep the music alive. I'm going to say that at the end of the video, but I want you guys to not forget that. So I'm saying that right now because you guys might be stupid and watch this video and still ignore what I'm saying. I'm going to ask you guys in the comments to actually put me onto some more bands because more music is good music. And I'm probably going to make a video on something like this again, but it'll be like Instagram comments or YouTube comments, put me on or something like that. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Like and subscribe. Keep the music alive. TikTok bans will never die.